Hi everyone, welcome to Live Your Happy 365 from the jungle. You can hear the birds. Can you guys hear the birds? I say the jungle just because it just looks like the jungle behind me and that umbrella there. So grateful and thankful. I have so much that's coming through today, inspiration that's coming through, and it's funny because I hardly even did the lesson. That's the funny part. But I think that sharing about not doing the lesson is very powerful because, and I'll get into that in a second. But anyways, it's a lesson 297. Forgiveness is the only gift I give. Okay, 297. Forgiveness is the only gift I give. And this it really hasn't happened too much throughout the process of doing the lessons every day and recording them. But it has happened before, and I'm going to call myself out on it because I feel it's something very important while we're doing these lessons. So yesterday, because I am a day ahead, yesterday when I was doing this lesson, there was no doing this lesson. I think I even looked at it, and I think I looked at it like this. You know, like I read it, but not really. You know, it's like I just said, oh, let me read the lesson for today because it was a to-do, right? But not even remotely not even reading what I was reading. Does that make sense? Like not even really paying attention, just doing it to do it. And it's interesting because I felt the call today to share that I didn't do the lesson yesterday, or I didn't really read it even yesterday. And that is huge because now I can practice by giving myself the gift of forgiveness for not doing the lesson. And what does that look like? What does that even look like? And what it looks like is that the release of guilt. The release of guilt is doing the lesson. So me calling myself out now, me sharing my private thought, me sharing it with you guys, and also extending that gentleness to you, that comfort to you, because it will happen throughout these lessons that we might not do it out of 10, or we might not do it at all, or we might not even read the lesson, and then we get stuck, and then we never finish the workbook, right? So this is huge. And what's coming up for me is guiltlessness. It's not having any guilt, because the ego mind uses guilt as a weapon against us doing these lessons. And I have to say that yesterday I just decided that I was not going to do the lesson because I was so in my head about life. You know, I was so in my head about our upcoming move. I was so in my head about how it needed to look like. I was such in a control state of mind. I felt like I can do it better than God, and hence I didn't want anything to do with the lesson. I don't want anything to do with forgiveness, or giving myself the gift of forgiveness, or giving the gift of forgiveness to anybody else, because Felipe, Maria la Loca, like I like to call her, doesn't want any of it. I want to suffer, right? So hence I've gotten better at this through time. And this is why, you know, I teach the way I teach, because we're all teachers of God when we are showing up for ourselves and trying to do the very best I can, and recognizing that I really did the best I could yesterday, and that the lesson was perfect, and letting go of the guilt that I didn't do the lesson perfectly is ultimately doing the lesson. Because what this workbook lesson is helping us with is to reach that forgiveness, and is to let go of that guilt that we feel inside. And I'm so psyched about talking about this because I can imagine how much of you struggle with needing to do the lesson perfectly. And I'm here to share with you that this need not be. And then when you let go of the guilt, you actually want to do the lesson. Because when you have a guiltless mind, the decisions that you make with spirit are so much better in alignment to your higher self. So hence, then what happens is, and I go back to this lesson and I read it, and then I move on to the next one, which is I'm in the next lesson today, right? And give myself the forgiveness of, oh my God, yesterday I decided to forget my father. And there's nothing wrong with me in that. It's just that there was a healing that took place, and it's part of this whole reality. And there's nothing wrong with feeling sad. There's nothing wrong with forgetting. you know, I feel like when I start to judge myself about it, it becomes a problem. But it's not a problem. It's not a problem unless what I'm thinking and believing and punishing myself, then it becomes a problem. So I give myself the gift of forgiveness today by understanding that all that exists right now is woman speaking to camera. And that any guilt that I want to have about yesterday and not doing the lesson and not showing up for the audience and not doing the lesson perfect and wanting to beat myself up about it doesn't work. So today I give myself the gift of forgiveness. And the gift of forgiveness looks like I did the best I could with the awareness I had in the moment. That's what forgiveness is. And I really did. And then now I get to show up and I get to share the lesson in a whole new way, because I didn't record it yesterday, obviously. I'm recording it right now. And I'm letting myself off the hook because I didn't do the lesson. And what a beautiful act of self-love. What a beautiful act of forgiveness to not get hung up on that. So I invite you guys to be gentle with yourself throughout this process and to let go of the guilt and just to show up. And within that, letting go of that guilt, you actually do the lesson a lot better. And you actually live the lesson. Because I'm living the lesson right now. Instead of just reading it and kumbaya and meditating on it. No, I actually lived it. I forgave myself because yesterday I didn't do the lesson properly. Not only that, I forgave myself because I forgot who I was. But then I get to remember again. All right, everyone, I hope that you found this helpful. I feel like this is so helpful to understand. If you get me, you understand what I'm saying, please write a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. And yeah, I love you. I appreciate you. Have a beautiful day filled with love and light. Until next time. Choo choo.